by the right of the council, by the will of the Force, welcome back into another episode of the Galaxy famous, Halcyon approved Jedi Talk podcast. Oh, I am one of your co-hosts on the High Council this evening. Actually, not right now, but I'm always on the High Council. My name is Tom Hooker. You are following us at Jedi Talk Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram, youtube.com/Jedi Talk. And this is a very special episode. Not our only episode this week, but let me real quick get into introducing our other and only host today on the regular council. That man would be Brad Hughes. Brad, how the hell are you today?
Thomas Oakley. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Bad Batch is up. How you feeling?
Bad Batch, man. It was. I will get into more details here, but I actually really enjoyed it. I saved the last 3 episodes to watch back to back to back.
Oh wow!
And I'll pretend like that was intentional, even though it wasn't.
It was intentional.
I saved them to do it back to back to back. I could have watched. I was going to catch up last night, and I was like, you know what? It'll be fun to have a little mini movie marathon tomorrow morning. So,
Brad, I just had an idea. There's another idea for a shirt on our new TeePublic shop. Brad, did you watch Bad Batch yet?
Well, no one will buy it because the show is over.
Yeah. So let's plug that real quick.
Yeah,
I want to plug that real quick. So we've been mulling around merch for the longest time. Brad and I have been saying this, and I'm sure before I was on the show, Brad's been trying to get merch out, and it's easy, but also at the same time, it just takes a lot of effort to put stuff together. But everyone else does it. Why can't Jedi Talk? So we're finally joining. We're jumping in with TeePublic. I don't have any experience with them outside of a buyer here and there. I know my buddies over at JFW Podcast use TeePublic. I've seen several other individuals use it, but now Jedi Talk is there. So you go to the link in our bio. We're tossing up new designs every day, Brad. Tom Hit the Button was just added the other day. If you want to show your disgust for TKG4RY, we have a shirt for you. And if you just want to spout that you're also on the High Council, go check it out. So in our link tree on TeePublic, or just go to teepublic.com, search Jedi Talk, you'll be able to find us. So you know the Jedi Talk podcast logo. I'm excited. I can't wait to be sporting those around.
I am too, man. And like Tom said, we don't have a ton of experience with it, but you said yesterday that you ordered 1 or 2 just to see, because we want to make sure if people do spend their hard-earned money, repping some Jedi Talk merch, that we're plugging something that's good. So
yes.
Also, if you guys have any suggestions for shirt ideas, let us know. We'll be more than happy to make a design for that. It would be anything from the show that you think would make a good shirt. Let us know. Oddly enough, we're not doing cursing on the shirts, so it can't be one of my horrible jokes or anything like that. But if you do support, we would greatly appreciate it, and thank you very much in advance.
Absolutely.
My newscaster way I ended that. We thank you very much in advance.
In advance of the horrible news we have sharing later today. But like Brad said, I ordered a couple just to take a look to see what they look like, because if it's crap, we're going to pull it off of TeePublic and figure it out. We'll figure something out. So
yeah, we own the designs, so we can kind of do whatever we want with them.
Well,
this was
fairly
the best
easy
way and easiest way for us and for you guys to get your Jedi Talk. And I just love the classic logo shirt. I just love logo shirts anyway. That logo shirt looks nasty. It looks so sick. We've
got the logo shirt. We've got a couple of phrases up there, so check it out on TeePublic. But we're here to talk about Bad Batch. Evan is not with us this morning. He rope dropped Hollywood Studios. Happy birthday, Hollywood Studios. It's 35th anniversary today.
Are you going today at all? I'm
not going to Hollywood Studios today. Not part of the plans. I'll be at Hollywood Studios. We'll be at Hollywood Studios, Brad, on Saturday.
Yes,
for a very special.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm going tonight. I'm going to go join Evan tonight. I'm sure he'll still be there. He likes to marathon the parks when he goes. I'm the opposite. I'm in for an hour and a half, and then I'm out.
I like marathoning. Marathoning parks are fun.
I marathon Disneyland and DCA when I'm over there, but the ones here, I'll come back tomorrow.
I'm chomping at the bit to talk about my Disneyland trip, but I'm going to save that for May 4th. I'm going to save that on our May 4th show, since
there's a lot of good Star Wars stuff you want to talk about. So
to talk about that day. I'm chomping at the bit to talk about it, though, especially that I want to talk on the air about that thing I told you guys that happened at Pirates of the Caribbean too.
Yes, so that was awesome. That was cool.
Anyway, Evan's at Studios right now. So if you happen to be at Studios today and you're listening to this before you go, Evan's probably there. Go say hi.
He's probably at Ronto Roasters sitting there.
Yeah. crying. No, it's
screaming, "Why, God, why?" in the front of the Chinese theater.
hey, if there's an opportunity to bitch about Disney and say all the bad things they're doing, but go there and spend money, you know Boucher is going to be there. You know he's going to be there. Red rope drop. We love you, Evan. I love you to death. You're so great for watching Winston and Raja and you and Taylor when we were gone. But as a family, we rip on each other, right, Brad? You stupid fuck.
Absolutely. Yeah. I see those guns out you got this morning. And
Thank you.
Metallica tank top. You look like you just came off a meth bender.
Maybe I did. Okay. Maybe I fucking did. So we're here to talk about the Bad Batch. But if you're May 4th, if you're on Planet Ambatu this Saturday, May 4th, in the year of 2024, celebrating Star Wars Day, Black Spire Day, we're going to be there at 3 p.m. on Planet recording. We call it a live episode, but it's not live. We're not doing it live from Riverside. It'll be live on Planet to be uploaded most likely later that evening.
So if you're recording live in the park.
That's right. That's right. Can't wait. We got lots to talk about. We'll catch up about all things Star Wars, but the Bad Batch ended today. And spoiler alert, we're going to talk about Bad Batch. Brad and I have finished it. I know Evan hasn't finished it yet, but all right, 3, 2, 1, wow. I guess we can go maybe initial thoughts, and then we can kind of get into details here.
Sure. My initial thoughts were we're specifically talking about the finale. Hemlock dying, Tarkin showing up, all that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The way they killed him, I thought, was pretty good. They were like kind of in tune with Omega, knew what she was gonna do, and like that was cool to see like them as like a unit. It was. I feel like it was I texted you at the very end, right before we started this. I was like, "It's kind of a milquetoast ending," and then the after scene showed up, and I was like, "Let's go!" Now, I did miss when they first showed what planet it was. Were they on the planet that they rescued Omega from? Was that what that was?
No. They're on Pabu or that one sanctuary planet.
Gotcha. Okay.
They went
into the transition.
I'm almost positive that was the cave where she trained with Asajj.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Seeing old Hunter, and she's joining the rebellion, which...
Oh, that was so cool.
I mean, didn't they announce a new cartoon show that's going to be taking place during this time period? She's definitely going to be involved.
You mean Tales of the Empire?
No, I thought there was another one that was announced.
If there is, it's...
Did I make that up? I thought there was some show that was going to take place in between 5 and 6.
There's a video. Outlaws is happening between 6 and 6.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
5 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I swore they announced some other
Dude,
show.
what if Omega shows up in Outlaws?
That would be amazing. Dude, how great is this character? She's like this generation's Ahsoka, where she like started
1,000%.
and no one really liked her, and she was annoying, and then a complete 180.
1,000%. I don't know if anybody didn't like her. I don't remember that. I remember on the show, maybe as a show, it took a second for us to warm up to her, but
I know it did for me personally.
yeah.
I'll speak
for me, it wasn't immediate, but it didn't take me a while. Like I was pretty invested in this character. We were all idiots and thought she was going to be Rey's mother, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Good old days.
Not a terrible guess, but in any event, I'm right there with you. And in true Jedi Talk fashion, we're all over the place with what we're going to comment on this episode. So Brad had mentioned the way Hemlock just got blasted and just fell off the bridge there in typical Star Wars fashion, the suspension bridge. But Brad's right. Brad's 1,000% right, because the whole time they were prepping Crosshair with his shaky hand, and then his hand got chopped off. Let's not forget. Those troopers chopped it off, so you can even see he was firing with just kind of laying on top of his forearm, and the whole series, all season 3, they were setting up Crosshair to fuck up in this moment, and I really thought he was going to. I thought he was going to screw up. I thought he was going to cost something somewhere where he'd have to sacrifice, and it's a little bit different. You would think because Crosshair did bad things that he would go down, that he would sacrifice his life kind of thing. But they didn't, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that Crosshair gets to ride off into the sunset, so to speak, with Hunter and Wrecker, and just the way he came through with being this like trusting each other, trusting Omega. Like she went from just like a clueless, happy-go-lucky kid that didn't know her existence to being one of the coolest people in the galaxy.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. I also really liked the dialogue he had with Rampart. Sorry, my voice is cracking. I need some water this morning. The dialogue he had with Rampart, he's like, I've changed. And he's like, I thought good soldiers followed orders. And he's like, yeah, it depends on who's giving the orders.
Oh.
And I'm like, that is such a great line.
Crosshair. Crosshair so subtly going through character change.
Mm-hmm.
God. Congrats, Dave Filoni. Congrats, Lucasfilm, Lucas Animation, Star Wars, Disney. And yes, thank you, Kathleen Kennedy, for a great series. Oh, my God. We're allowed to praise her when she does something good, guys. It's okay.
No,
Fuck.
She's awful. Put a chicken
Oh, she's awful. Oh, she's a woman. Oh, fuck out of here.
Well, that's my big problem is that she's a woman.
Tom hit the button. You should wear that shirt. Get it at our TeePublic.
I do need
TeePublic.
You do need to hit the button.
What button?
Yeah.
No, I didn't delete that button. Which button are you talking about?
I didn't say delete a button.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
No. I said you need to hit the button.
Oh. And the TeePublic shirt. So, do you have a favorite moment from today's episode?
Yeah, the very end. I thought seeing her, grown up more or less. I think she's probably still pretty young. She's probably like a teenager or something, like 17, 18. She said she was going off, and they said they still wanted to protect her. So I feel like she still might be a little younger than, I keep saying adult Omega, but I think she's probably like late teens Omega, 18, 19.
She said the
19.
rebellion.
Yeah.
So
and that was
even in Andor, the 5 years before, 5 years before Rogue One happened, they weren't calling themselves Rebellion, right?
I don't remember. I don't think
so.
Another part of that I really loved was, taking all the funding from Project Necromancer to Project Stardust. That was fantastic.
Yes. I was going to mention that.
Yes.
Yeah. The money had to go somewhere. So it's like, but they obviously had to have succeeded somewhere with Necromancer to be able to clone Palps eventually.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine since Project Stardust fails pretty spectacularly, and Tarkin's eviscerated, then, Emperor's probably like, hey, let's circle back on this little creepy idea I had.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my guess. Yeah, my dog is freaking out. I don't know if you can hear Jack. He's freaking out over there.
I can. That's okay. Winston bitches all the time on these podcasts. So.
Somebody rang the doorbell. I think Amazon just delivered a package.
There you go.
He gets freaked out. We never used to have a doorbell, so I didn't think he would get freaked out by it, and you can barely hear it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dogs and their freakish hearing. That's what makes them dogs.
This is a funny little side tangent. We have the ability to lock our door from home. And we found out that when he hears the sound of the motor going, he gets really freaked out. And so when we can't find him, we don't know where he is in the house when we leave. We just hit that button, and then he runs right to the front door, and we're like, there he is.
Oh my God. Yeah. Winston does the same thing with it because we have the Ring app, and it makes or I don't know if the Ring does it, but the mechanical thing we have makes a weird chime at the end when you lock it, and Winston freaks out every time he hears it. So. Protecting is what they're doing. So, speaking of dogs, we had a nice little dog-like creature in Batcher show up this season, who's kind of become a little bit of my favorite. I like that they've added him, and thank God nothing happened to Batcher. I was worried about that for a little bit.
I'm glad that they showed him at the end too, where okay, he's still around. So it couldn't be too much time. We don't know how long that species lives, but
it was so. But it was cool to see Hunter because Hunter was just. He's older. He's aged incredibly, where Omega, let's just say for shits and giggles, she's 18, 20 years old maybe. So we have to assume Luke is already in the rebellion at this point. I'm going to assume this is post A New Hope. I'm just going to make an assumption that at the end was maybe post A New Hope. Somebody tell me if you were able to... Yeah. Right
before they started in Rogue One... Well, when did they officially start the Death Star? That was episode 3, right? You see it being built at the very end.
Yeah, you're seeing it built.
What's the time jump from that to Andor?
Well, shame on me for not knowing where we go from Revenge of the Sith, because that was what? Is Revenge of the Sith 18, 19 BBY?
Yeah, something like that. And then what is Bad Batch? But see, like, we don't know exactly when this jump takes place because Bad Batch
No, well-
technically goes from like
No, Bad Batch starts Order 66, man.
yes,
So it's-
but we don't know where it ends because we don't know exactly where this time period is.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. The show spans that entire time technically.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay. I'm just gonna call it like maybe 20 years. She's in her like early 20s or something. I wanted to get to this
How
point.
old is she in the show?
Oh wow, maybe it's.
She's probably 30 then if it's 20 years.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because she's got to be what, like
10, 12?
10 or so. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You would think. Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. Sorry, this is initial reactions after 3. We don't have the data, so sue us. But that's okay. It's just the point I wanted to make, though. I have a spot right here for a nice adult Omega TVC in Black series.
Hell yeah.
Because after I saw her in like the new get up and the new outfit, and she said Rebellion, I'm like, well, I'm going to need Rebellion Omega now.
That
And she's
is
gonna-
one of the coolest looking outfits I've seen in a while. That outfit looked so cool.
And didn't she say she's like the Rebellion needs pilots, so she's
Yep.
going out there to be a pilot?
She's going to be a pilot.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's going to be a rebel pilot. That's interesting. It's very interesting because I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought she would have been like wanted to be a spy because she's so good at like sneaking around, and maybe that's where she ultimately ends up. But
It's true.
You know what I'm thinking about right now, man. I'm thinking about how cool it would have been if you didn't have a Vi Marati, and Omega ultimately became like Leia's right hand spy. Ah.
That would be cool, but I mean,
That'd be
Vi's
so
a good
sick. Vi's
character
awesome,
too.
too.
You
Vi's
could have
awesome, too.
you could have made this a young Vi. You
Yeah,
could have made
you
young
could've.
Vi Marathi, I guess. But then
Yeah.
again, I don't know. Vi's young-ish.
It could have worked.
And Va too. God, sometimes you just gotta sit there. I got a freaking Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Get a map and look for Pepe Lupe.
See, that's how I felt just now trying to figure out how many years it was
I know.
into the timeline.
So we had some great callbacks in this. You know, they had mentioned Rex. Echo was in it back a lot. You know, I'm kind of glad that Rex didn't show up with like a bunch of other clones and stuff, because this was the Bad Batches to take Hemlock down and take him down. You know, I said I wanted him hung in front of everybody to burn him and throw stones at him, but that was a satisfying way to do it.
The dude's a monster.
Yeah,
Dude's a monster. Man.
God, like one of the worst in the Empire
100%.
ever.
And you know what when I was watching it today, I was going, man, if they do a live action Hemlock, because I didn't know how it was going to end. Jeremy Renner is the ideal. He looks just like that guy.
Oh no! Oh, you think Jeremy Renner? His voice,
Jeremy Renner look wise.
look-wise.
Remember him in
Yeah.
in the whichever Avengers it was, the second
Oh
one.
yeah. Hawkeye.
With,
I know. Yeah.
with the short haircut when he was Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looks just like him.
But who's the? Oh God, Chris Pine is it? I don't know why I always saw Chris Pine or heard Chris Pine in his voice
Yeah, 100%.
and saw it in his face a little bit. Yeah, that's not Chris
100%.
Pine voicing him, is it?
I think we looked it up and it was.
Oh God, was it Chris Pine? Hemlock
Did I make that
voice.
up? Why does that sound right?
No,
Did we
Jimmy
think
Simpson.
It was Chris Pine. Okay,
It was Jimmy Simpson.
Thought it was Chris Pine.
And he voices Royce Hemlock in the second and third seasons of Bad Batch. So,
He crushed that shit. So
oh,
that
Joe,
dude's
fuck
awesome.
yeah, he did. Jimmy
That
Simpson
dude's
fucking
awesome.
crushed that shit. So,
awesome.
yeah, the callbacks. The Zillo Beast was unleashed upon. You know, there was a callback to when the Empire captured him. I think it was from last season.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. And I was like, why the fuck is there like a
Yeah.
a thing in the walls at this base?
Yeah, that's what made it so, climactic. And Dave was pointing to it, and like kind of like, yeah, hey, the Zillo Beast is in Mount Tantus. So
That's so funny.
Omega, I loved how everybody in the batch knew that Omega was the one who released the Zillo Beast. It's like, oh yeah, Omega did that. Yeah, and they're just like all
How do you
nonchalant with it.
know? Because that's what I would have done.
Yeah. I thought Wrecker was going down there when that one trooper with that like
kinda
electro
wish he
staff.
would have. I kind of wish he would.
Wrecker's my favorite.
I love Wrecker. Don't get me wrong, but I think it would have been. I don't know. This is kind of why I said earlier to that. I thought it was a milk toast ending because like they ended it a little safe with everybody making it out, and like he
Sure.
very clearly could have died and it would have made sense. It wouldn't have been like, oh come on, like sometimes like Crosshair, it's like, oh, come on. I mean, it made sense, but like you could have kept Crosshair around. But Wrecker going, I thought was for sure going to, and they like alluded to it so much that I was like, yeah, it's definitely going to happen. And then when it didn't,
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's all good. I ultimately really do like this ending. I love this series. 3 seasons. We've talked about this at length. I think 3 seasons is really good, jam-packed for this story. Because go and look at the Clone Wars. I like the Clone Wars overall, but there's some crap in there. There's some just minutia that doesn't necessarily need to be. But it's an animated show. It was finding its footing. You go look at Clone Wars Season 7. I think that's great from top to bottom. But in a vacuum.
And it's good top to bottom because it's not 33 episodes.
Right. And it's, yeah, but you get Bad Batch in 3 seasons, and it's crazy that Bad Batch started and like ended already. Like,
yeah,
I remember when that was announced to now it's just, but I mean, again, only 3 seasons, but so good. This is what Star Wars does right. Star Wars does these things so well. Disney animation, they've been killing it. Tales of the Jedi was great, and we have Tales of the Empire in just a few days, Brad. I'm gonna try to slam it before going to Hollywood. Well, no, because I'm gonna be at studios in the morning.
Oh, same.
Drop Courtney and Lily off, and then I'll come back for the podcast. So I might not be able to watch.
Something similar.
Yeah,
I'm dropping Tali off at Typhoon Lagoon.
There you go. Yeah. I might not be able to catch it before we record, but I know what I'll do Saturday night then. But we've got a lot more to talk about Saturday anyway. But we're talking about Bad Batch right now. So, this was my favorite season. Season 3 was my favorite season by far of the 3,
Same.
and I liked 2, and 1 was good as well. I think they used Cad Bane this season so well, sparingly.
I forgot he was even in it. That's how good it was. Like, that's how good the season was. It was like a character I love as much as Cad Bane. I completely forgot was even in it.
Fennec Shand had her own episode, right? With and then such good stuff. There's if Lucasfilm Animation was to pull out another show similar to this, something short, what would you want it to be about?
I would want it to be to take place in between 5 and 6. I think that is it would just be, call it Rebellion. You did Resistance, which was kind of the Resistance. It kind of wasn't, but it was. You could do a Rebellion show, and just call it Rebellion, and have it be an animated show with some new characters of the Empire hunting down the Rebellion. I think it'd be very interesting to see how they got up to Hoth. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff you could do in between 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. But I would say maybe make it 5 and 6 because there's a lot less content in that time period.
Mine would be titled "Canceled: The Tales of Cara Dune." No. I would want something sequel trilogy era because Star Wars needs to put their best foot forward for the sequel trilogy, and we like the sequel trilogy, but a lot of people out there just make it their personality to bash on it. So Star Wars should be like, fuck you, look at how great this is. But also sometimes I think they shouldn't, I think while I'm happy Tales of the Empire is coming, like I cannot wait for it this Saturday, I think Star Wars is catering a little bit to the people who clamor for the original trilogy stuff. Would you agree?
100%. And I think they're starting to do the same thing with the prequel trilogy stuff too. And I think it may just take time. I mean, look at how much hate and vitriol George Lucas and Hayden Christensen got for the prequel trilogy, and it's
Jacob
already turned. Yeah. Oh my God, that poor guy.
Yep.
And then I think it's going to turn. I mean, you're already starting to see people go out and be like, actually, The Last Jedi is like fucking amazing. And you're like,
no.
It's always been amazing. You just didn't want to see it.
Right. And then this
good.
And this ties to the Bad Batch because just to Brad's point, right? People came around to the prequels. That's why you're seeing Hayden Christensen at cons. He's coming out. People are loving seeing him back. And he's in Ahsoka. He's in Kenobi. And he did great things in both of those. And I cannot wait to see more of him. But when the sequels do that, and it'll just be like the same thing over and over again. People saying, "Oh, it's okay," but the Bad Batch can succeed because everybody's, so to speak, okay on the prequels again. And it's funny because the prequels exist for you and a lot of other people, and a lot of our listeners, as our childhood movies, because the OG was, our parents' childhood and maybe brothers and sisters or aunts and uncles, right? That's what they saw. And then our kids' trilogy is going to be the sequel trilogy. So it's everybody has their own. Everybody has their own. The reason why everybody turned back around on the prequels is it was one of the reasons why I think Bad Batch can do so well, and it was written well, and it's Dave Filoni is one of the best things that ever happened to Star Wars, and we thank you very much for Bad Batch.
I could not agree more. I think it's him and Jon Favreau together, just like the dynamic duo. I think that I'm so curious about this Mando and Grogu movie. I cannot wait to see how this goes. It's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. And I also love that we called this as how they were going to end it. They were going to end it as a movie.
Do you think that's the end of... Do you think Mando and Grogu, do you think they'd come back with like a season 5? Or would they call it season 4? I know it almost seems weird to go back to a series, right?
Yeah, I don't think you do a movie to not end it. Also, how many seasons of this do we want? Like, kind of like to your point of your Bad Batch thing. It's like, how many seasons of Mando walking around saving Grogu almost getting caught, and then he saves him? Like, how many... Like, I could see in a world where, like, we get the main story of whatever the story is going to be, and at the very end, you see the same kind of conversation between Mando and Grogu that we had with Hunter and Omega today.
Oh, sure.
Where Grogu's like, I'm off to go find Rey. And then maybe that's where 10 picks up. Or, we're calling it episode 10, but, the Rey movie. And that's where that picks up. That'd be interesting.
But, wouldn't hate it. But I've always held that I think Din/Mando is biting the bullet for Grogu when it's all said and done. I've always held that.
What happens to Grogu, though? Like,
he's taken everything he's learned, and he goes on his own. I mean,
Man.
Yoda was okay on Dagobah for like 7,000 years. So
yeah, that's very true.
Any last thoughts? I want to keep today short, obviously, without Evan, and we have a big show on Saturday, but we just want to get our initial thoughts about the Bad Batch out and just kind of put it out there. And
I don't think I have anything else for Bad Batch. I really, really liked it. I really, really liked it. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of the show, and I hope that he continues to keep one foot in animation because he's really good at it. He's
Agreed.
Really good at animation. So, yeah, I'm happy he's doing live action stuff too, and the movie. But I really hope he stays with animation at least in some capacity because he crushes it.
Me too. We're talking about Mr. Filoni.
Yeah. One other thing before we wrap up, the only other thing I wanted to bring up is I think Saturday they're having a panel to show some new HasLab stuff, including the TV.
It's Friday.
Or is it Friday? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's better. Do you have any predictions?
I haven't. So I think it's going to be the Phantom Menace related, and then I won't spoil your prediction because I'm sure you're going to say it. Look, if it's not, I don't know why I think it would be hilarious if they released like the Canto Bite Casino. Because it would piss so many people off, but I would love it. Yeah. No, it's definitely going to be Phantom Menace related. Phantom Menace is 25 this year, right? You would think so? You would think it's like...
You'd think.
Boonta Eve Classic track? Beggars Canyon?
You want to see me fucking lose it.
That's
be a pod racing thing.
I think you need to expect it might be something to do with pod racing.
I will have never funded something faster in my life if it's a pod racing. Like
I'm gonna hold you to this one.
Super detailed Anakin and Sebulba pod racing set, bro.
They better.
But go ahead.
I was gonna say you better get your celebration tickets tomorrow before they announce it May 3rd.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
You better buy your celebration tickets tomorrow before they announce on May 3rd what it is, so you can already have celebration tickets.
I know. I think they're going to do... I think it's going to be Phantom Menace related, too, for the same reason you do. 25th anniversary. 30th? Is it 30th? 25th? 25th?
25.
That's wild. I can't believe it was 25 years old. Holy shit. Well, I can't believe The Force Awakens is almost 10 years old. That's blowing my mind right there. Like, that's crazy. But anyway, I think it's going to be I forget the I posted what it was. It's the reflective ship. I forget the class, and the J Cruiser or something. The mirrored ship, the one that looks still really good, the CGI mirrored ship. I think that's what they're going to go with.
Okay.
That to me makes the most sense. It's a single ship. You can stack that thing with some exclusive TVC characters that people actually would want. Like a Padme Amidala. The Handmaidens. You could and have those all be exclusives for like the stretch goals and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. So I think if they do, I think if they do. That for Phantom Menace would be that, or I think it maybe they're going to go classic and we get a HasLab Ewok village finally in the TVC.
I'd take that too.
Yeah, either one of those I'm down for.
What do you guys think? Let us know at Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram or youtube.com/Jedi Talk. But I don't have any more ideas. What do you guys think of Bad Batch? We want to know. We want to know how you felt. Matt Navarez, let us know. Mike, Anthony, let us know. What do you think about Bad Batch? I'm calling out the people I know who watch it. Evan, let us know. All of our listeners, what do you guys think about Bad Batch? But thank you for listening. Brad, if you don't have anything else, I think we'll keep it short for people today. Let them get back into their day and stop contemplating life because they decided to listen to Jedi Talk. But if you've made it this far, we thank you.
We do, yes. Thank you very much. We will see some of you on Saturday at Box 2. If you happen to be at Galaxy's Edge for May the 4th or at Hollywood Studios for May the 4th, hit us up. Let us know you'll be there, and we will see you there. Maybe you can come on the show, ask a question.
Fuck yeah.
Whatever you would like to do. We're going to have a good old time over at Hollywood Studios. So thank you guys for listening. We will see you on the next one. Until then, stay safe. May the Force be with you.
Rise, Jedi Knight.